Hey there friends, this is Pete with BananaHobby.com. Welcome to your What's in the Box and the first look at something that is extremely cool. This, what I have in front of me here, I'm not going to tell you exactly what it's inside yet. I just want to tell you a couple of things about it. This is something that we've been working on for some time now, and I'm very, very excited to have this here. This will be in stock shortly here, and I think that this is going to be one of the most fun airplanes that all of us can get our hands on. What this is in here is, it's basically a mini Sky Surfer. We've taken the hugely popular Sky Surfer here at Banana Hobby made by BlitzRCWorks, and we've scaled it down to something really small and just super, super cute. So basically this is 850 millimeters in the wingspan, and it's 33.5 inches. It uses an 11.1 volt 3-cell battery pack at 650 mAh. So that's the size of pack that's going to go in here. I actually haven't opened this and actually taken a look myself yet, so I'm not even sure what this is going to expect, but I know that it's going to be a cute little Sky Surfer. Again, like behind me, you can see our Sky Surfer that we've actually made into the giant Super Sky Surfer, which is almost 100 inches in wingspan. Motor KV, brushless outrunner, 4300 kV if you choose the brushless version with a 20 amp brushless ESC. And I'm pretty sure that the build time on this is going to be pretty much next to nothing. This will be available in your plug and play basically, and receiver ready, or of course you can get it as ready to fly. I believe they sent us one here as ready to fly. So let's go ahead and just take the parts out of the box here and see what we can expect from this cute little Sky Surfer here. There we go. Out comes the manual, and I believe I will be rewriting the manual myself, so we're not going to be using that. Sweet. Let's get parts out of here. Oh my goodness, this is just like, it's like the big Sky Surfer, but just in a super small format. And the fuselage is actually taped. It's glued with a cardboard reinforcement to the box, so we need to remove that, which I'm finding that it's not the easiest thing to do because there's glue on it. So you want to be careful not to damage your little Sky Surfer here. There we go. Well, definitely packaged really good. It's not going to go anywhere. There we go. So we're going to get rid of that. Get rid of that there. And here comes the fuselage. Okay, the fuselage is also taped to the box, so it's not going to be bouncing around or anything like that during shipment, which is a good thing. Look at that. Tell me that that's just not the cutest thing ever. It's our big old Sky Surfer, our medium Sky Surfer, and now a tiny little mini Sky Surfer. You know, the Sky Surfer has been a staple of our industry now, with people flying FPV and just novice pilots learning how to fly. It's been a perfect platform for everybody learning, and now we have it down to a little itty bitty size like this. Can you imagine? This is going to be packed full of performance for such a little Sky Surfer here. Okay, let's get the tail section and the main wing out here. Okay, the tail actually is glued to the main wing. And I'm trying to detach this. We got to do it kind of slow here so we don't damage anything. There we go. It actually pulled the plastic off the main wing, which is okay. Okay, so we have your little itty bitty tail section here. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I'm also going to be doing a build of this for you on tape, on film, so that you know, if you choose to pick one of these up for yourself, you can follow the build video. Look at that. Just the tiny little tail section here. Okay, I really want to get the main wing out here without damaging anything. Okay, that I believe is the transmitter because this is the ready to fly one. Okay, and this bag has all of our goodies, push rods and everything in here. And here comes the main wing. Yeah, definitely packaged extremely well here. Look at that main wing. Tell me that's not cute. It's just a tiny little Sky Surfer. Let's go ahead and take the plastic off here. And keep in mind, this is not only is it something you could learn with, but this is still your full 4-channel format. So you do have full functions of your ailerons, right, which are right here, your ailerons, your elevator, and your rudder and throttle. So this is an actual, you know, RC flying aircraft here. So we're going to go ahead and set this aside. So it looks like we have to mount our own aileron servos, which are in this bag. They're tiny little servos. Awesome. Okay, let's get the rest of the stuff out here. There's not much to this kit here. It's just everything's taped down really well. I'm just going to get the battery out of the box here. Look at that tiny little 650 milliamp LiPo pack there, and I believe this is the charger. Sweet. Get out of the way. Okay, let's take a look at their radio and see what, if you get it as ready to fly. Okay, so this is the BlitzRCWorks mini radios, pretty much, which is going to be perfect for this if you choose to get it ready to fly. Awesome. Put the manual back there. Okay, so that's everything. This is all the contents of your mini Sky Surfer. So maybe we should call it micro Sky Surfer. One-piece wing, and the reason why I'll tell you the servos are not mounted for you is because it is a one-piece wing. I do see a carbon spar down the middle, so there is a carbon spar, so that's good. Yeah, it's pretty rigid, but I mean the airplane's so small, it's not gonna, you know, be too big of an issue here with it. But there is a carbon spar. The reason why the servos are not mounted is because you have to insert the wing first, and then go ahead and put the servos in. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to insert the wing that way. So cool. I think the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and just start a build review of this beautiful little mini Sky Surfer. Let's go ahead and get hands-on now and build this cute little mini Sky Surfer here. One of the things that you're going to notice is that glue is actually not provided for you in this kit. And the reason why is there's a lot of different glues on the market that you can possibly use. So the manufacturer actually wants you to choose your own glue. With how small this airplane is, I don't see a real need to use epoxy on the tail sections. I would just suggest to use rubber contact cement, or I actually just tried this glue on EPO foam, and I found it to work really good. It is called Welders and welder glue. You can actually get this glue at your local hardware store. So this glue works really well too. However, I will use 2-part epoxy on all of the control surface horns that need to be glued to the control surfaces. So I will use epoxy there because I want the strength to be there. I think one of the benefits of using actually just like the run-of-the-mill rubber contact cement is that if you crash it or if you break something on this airplane, you can actually still get the parts off, and it just becomes like a little rubbery thing, and you can actually replace parts that way. If you use welders, it's not going to come off, and then if you use epoxy, it won't come off either. So let's go ahead and I'm going to build this pretty much my way here from the get-go. I have paper plates. Paper plates are your epoxy mixing's best friend. So we're going to go ahead and mount our control horns here first. Okay, let's go ahead and bring this in just a little bit so you can get a better view here. Okay, so we have a total of 4 control horns here, and then you have 4 control surfaces. You have 2 ailerons, 1 on the elevator, and then 1 on the rudder here. So we're going to have to right now, you want to actually, you know, make sure all of these little screws are tight and stuff here. You can do that now, or you can actually do that afterwards. So we'll check it right now with a hand. Yeah, I'm going to make sure all of these are tight after I get it onto the actual airplane here. Okay, so let's go ahead and just start gluing our control surface horns here. Wanted to make sure inside the, let's go ahead and test fit first. Okay, so this is our horizontal stabilizer with our elevator. Okay, you want to keep in mind the, wow, that's so small. That's it right there. The rudder push rod is on your, will be sitting on the top of the horizontal stabilizer here. So that, I believe, the reason why I'm checking this is because we have to check to see what direction we want our, I don't know if I want it that way, because the manual wasn't very clear, so I think we want it this way. Yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and get all of our surfaces ready to be glued here, and I'll show you what directions these are going on. And I am going to use, again, two-part epoxy. This will be 5-minute epoxy, so this will be just fine for this application. We'll have plenty of time for the glue to dry. There we go. You don't really have to use epoxy on this area. It's just my own preference. You could actually use your welder's glue or your rubber contact cement as well. There we go. I got my epoxy in 2 equal dollops. And we're going to grab our mixing sticks and just start mixing here. So we're going to press fit once we have a good press fit, because there's a little prongs in here we have to indent in there. I'm going to just go ahead and apply the glue onto the surface horn there. Okay, that is a lot of glue, so I am definitely going to have to get a small rag. So do have a small rag ready. So we're going to press here, and of course all of that glue oozes on out. So I'm going to grab my rag. We want to wipe off the residual glue here. When working with epoxy, always good to have some denatured alcohol near you, or acetone, because you will get this on your hand. But however, you know, if it is epoxy and if it oozes out a little bit, it's still okay. It just means that it's going to be stronger here. Okay, let's go ahead and find the one for there we go. This is the one for the rudder. We'll test fit one more time. Okay, test fit's good, so it sits like that for the rudder. And we got to be quick because this is 5-minute epoxy, so we have to make sure we have enough working time. There we go. Let me get this on here. And we have some epoxy oozing out a little bit once again, so we'll just go ahead and give it a wipe. Not a big deal. Okay, getting epoxy on the hand is a big deal. I have it on my fingers now. So just go ahead and use my fingers. There we go. I'm going to check the elevator one, which looks good. Okay, so your tail section looks like that, okay? And then we will go ahead and now do our ailerons, and the screws actually will be facing towards the tips of the wings. Okay, so with your finished tail section with the control surface horns on, it should look like that when you are done, and that is ready to go. I've gone ahead and only glued one control surface horn to the ailerons. You cannot glue all 4 of these right now to the ailerons. Keep that in mind, because you still have to slide the wing through the fuselage here, and if you glue that on there, you won't be able to slide it through. So now once we have that one side glued on there, I want to show you how to actually break in these control surfaces, because there are EPO foam hinges, and they're very stiff right now. So we're going to go ahead and just grab it with our hand and then bend it a few times. Don't bend it to 90 degrees or anything like that, or 45 degrees. Just bend it, give it some movement there, and loosen it up. There we go. We did that one to the right aileron as well. Okay, so these are ready to go. And I think the tail section is actually not bad at all. So, okay. Yeah, the tail section's okay, but do bend it a couple of times just to break them in, break in the hinges. Okay, actually I'm not going to do the main wing yet. Let's go ahead and glue down our tail section here. Okay, for the ease of, I guess you can say, building this, because I need this to set pretty quick so we can move on with the video, I guess I will use epoxy on the tail section, which, again, like I said, if you guys and gals out there wanted to use the glue on your tail section, it's actually up to you what type of glue to use. I'm hoping that once I glue this down, I won't need to replace anything. So I will use epoxy just for the sake that we can actually get this video done in one sitting and then move on to putting a radio system in it and then getting it to the field. Okay, we got epoxy again, and we're going to mix. I know these build reviews sometimes are just very tedious and you're just like, dude, what are you doing? But, you know, I don't know how many of y'all out there actually watch this for entertainment purposes. I don't know if I would, but this is something to help you when you pick up one of these cute little sky surfers here, to help you through the build and not make any mistakes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and apply the epoxy to the horizontal stabilizer, just some down here. So if you're using your glue of choice, there's only a very small contact area here to glue down, so you don't need too much glue at all. There we go, a little bit on the tip area there. We're good to go. Flip that. We will now slide, just press. Remember, the rudder push rod has to be on top. Okay, we're going to kind of just move this around a little bit like that just to make sure it seats in place. We'll take a look down here, make sure it's nice and flat, which it is. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. If you have somebody to help you hold it right now, probably a good idea to have somebody help you hold it. If you don't, then we'll just lean her up against there so the tail section doesn't actually flip it over, because we need to... I'm going to loosen the screw, take off the screw here for the easy connector hinge. For now, to make it easier, we're going to go ahead and lay on some glue here to the vertical stabilizer. And with the vertical stabilizer, this airplane is so small that I won't put any glue on the outsides of it. You always can, but if you're going to, you're going to have a lot of glue come squeezing out of there. So I'll probably just use my wet epoxy here and just put like a light layer on the outside. So if you're using rubber contact cement, just put a real light layer on the outside. You don't need much at all, because your main contact point is actually at the root here. Okay? Now what you want to do is you want to slide the rudder push rod through this little tiny easy connector hinge first before you actually, there we go, before you insert the vertical stabilizer into the fuselage. Okay, the vertical stabilizer inserts from the front first, so we're going down this way, and then we're going to press straight down. There we go. And we are pretty much good to go there. Once you press that straight down, just push the horizontal stabilizer, push it forward. I don't know where I got glue from right there. Push the horizontal stabilizer, make sure it's all the way forward, and we're flush. And we'll take a look down this way here. Make sure everything is nice and straight, which it is, perfectly lined up. Sweet, we are good to go here. Okay, so your tail section is now glued into place for this cute little mini sky surfer. Now I'm going to trial fit the, well, I still don't want it to tilt over like that just yet, because I'm not sure if the glue is actually completely dry, so we don't want the elevator or the horizontal stabilizer to pop off on us. Best to actually just let her sit for a little bit. Looks good, cute. Okay, I'm going to hold on to that, the fuselage, and I want to trial fit the main wing. Okay, it just pretty much slides right into place just like that. Okay, I will tell you this right now. I don't see a reason for gluing the main wing whatsoever. I would not glue it. If you glue it, you won't be able to get it off if you crash it. And actually, this has a little bit of a give in it, so you can, if you do have any cartwheeling and some things like that, it'll give a little bit. I think what I would do is I'll probably just put one piece of clear tape on the bottom on each side, and that would close. That would actually hold it just fine. I actually do that with all my bigger ones. Even the big one, I don't glue the wing down. Okay, so that fitment to me is very good. We are going to slide that back out now. And we have to, well actually I can't do that yet. So I'm going to set this here so it doesn't tilt. There we go. What we will do now is we will install one side of the aileron servo here. And you want to make sure you have some, get a rag, make sure you have some denatured alcohol, acetone, or even just rubbing alcohol. Find the bottoms of these because sometimes they're a little bit oily, and wipe it down real quick so you can have this ready to be glued down. And the servo horns here will be vertical, as you can see there, and then the glue will be going to the bottom side. I will disconnect the Y connector for now and split up the two servos. And the servos pretty much mount into place just like that. Okay, now I will strongly suggest that you use your rubber contact cement. I will only use rubber contact cement for this because in the event that you do have a servo failure or you strip a gear or something like that, you would be able to still salvage it by, getting your servo out because you can break these glue away. If you use epoxy or super glue or something like that, you'll never be able to get that servo out of there. So right now we're going to glue the left, or actually the right side to my right side, but when you're looking at it like this, it's the left. Okay, I'm just going to put some rubber contact cement just down on there on the flat surface. I'm not going to put it on the sides, there's no need for it. And I'm going to just press that down just like that into place. Make sure it's flat and then press it all the way down. Okay. So it looks like we have to route this wire now down into the channel, which we will do just right now. I think once you get this down into the channel, you probably should use a piece of tape. So correction by me here. The wire here actually does not run through the top hole. We're going to leave it exposed to the bottom side of this, and the wire will actually just run through the channel here. There's a lower channel that'll go up to the front of the fuselage here. So now we're going to go ahead, and I have the Y splitter connected to the opposite side. We will go ahead and insert the wing partially. I'm going to flip the wing over, and we will grab our servo, which I have already applied glue to, and we will go ahead and glue this servo down just like the other side. Okay, we're going to line her up there and just press. Make sure the other one's down, and then we're going to run the wire here right through the channel once again. And I will now just go ahead and don't press it all the way in. When you go just about that distance there's a gap here, and it's enough to slide the servo wire into. Okay, so once we get the wire in there, we go. We will now just, now this part is a little bit tedious. You got to try to get that wire routed over to the front here. Okay, we got one side in, so now we can go ahead and push this all the way home. There we go. Your other side is definitely not in there, so we have to go ahead and pull on the wire, and we'll tuck away here. And push at the same time here. Be careful when you're pulling on the wire not to pull the wrong side. I've done that before. That is it. This is a good part to have a small flathead screwdriver because you can actually tuck the wire in some more. But my needle nose are pretty sharp there. Okay, so now we have your completed mini sky surfer here, and you can see that the wires for the ailerons are actually through the front now, so we're ready to go. Check everything, it's pretty straight. Okay, we have one more control surface horn to glue on there, so go ahead and glue that on now. At this time, you should be pretty much ready to go with some of the final building steps here. Again, you can get this as ready to fly, and if you get it as receiver ready, Like today, we are using a DX8, my own DX8, and then we are using the AR6110Es for the receivers. These are plenty small enough and, would be perfect for this airplane. So right now, I'm going to just actually shove the battery in here, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about the push rods. We're going to go ahead and install the push rods. We have the main wing inserted. Everything's ready to go. And all you're going to do here is you're going to loosen up this screw here and get the camera in for a little bit tighter of a shot here. Okay, we're going to use the third, counting from the top down, the third hole there. Okay, now we will just bend our aileron a little bit here and then insert the rod directly into the easy type connector there. And then we need to check our direction here. So my direction is backwards there, so let's go ahead and go into the menu here, and let's set this up real quick here. Reverse. There we go. So we are ready to go here. And while you're doing that, you might as well do a little bit of sub-trimming. Just to try to get the aileron to actually sit more closer to the center. There we go. So we're looking for these to be more straight. Okay. I actually goofed. I didn't make a new model here, so all of my trims are actually off. So now we're centered here. There we go. So we're pretty good there. So once you have that there, all you're going to do here is pretty much just feel it with your fingers here. You can see that it's nice and level and flush with the trailing edge here. And we will just tighten down this little Phillips head screw here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we have your aileron. And that's pretty much all you need there. You don't really need a whole lot of crazy control throws or anything like that. However, this little sky surfer, this mini sky surfer is actually very aerobatic. Okay, let's see here. We will use the third from the top hole once again. And if you, oh, my screw just fell off there. If you do feel that you need more or you want more control surface authority, you can definitely go to the top hole. That would give you more. And if you're using your own radio, you can also do the travel adjust there and just give it more travel on the servo itself through the radio. Okay, so that, you're done there with the ailerons. And we will move to the elevator here. Let's go ahead and just slide that right into the push rod there. There we go. Sometimes the screws come off. Don't worry. Just go ahead and re-thread the screw right back on here. Not left-handed, so that was a little difficult there. Let's go ahead and spin it around and use this side. There we go. Make sure the elevator is nice and flat, which looks like it is. Push rod is good, and we are going to go ahead and just tighten this down. Okay, here's a tip. Once you get to it's almost tight, you can't keep tightening it because the push rod will bend. So you want to hang on to the push rod and tighten this screw at the same time here so you don't let that push rod bend too much, okay? There we go. We have elevator now. Let's go ahead and flip this beautiful cute little sky surfer here. We're going to go to the rudder. The rudder we had already inserted upon installing our vertical stabilizer. So we're going to just go ahead and put the screw in it. There we go. Do the same thing. Make sure it's nice and flush, which it is. And you want to hold on to this one because it's at an angle. When you go to put pressure on it, it'll actually move the rudder itself. Okay, so that's about there. That's good. So we're going to hold on to the push rod once more and tighten her down. Cool. And we have rudder. We're good to go. So we have pretty much set up everything already. And we will install the propeller. The propeller actually is a regular propeller. So this is not, let's see here. Yeah. This is not a pusher prop. So if you do choose, I believe this is a it's a 5 by 4.5. So if you do opt to go to an APC propeller, these are mounted in this fashion here to where they are still, it's rotating the regular counterclockwise as a regular propeller. You can also opt to go, APC-E's, they sell pusher prop, so you can go pusher prop as well. But if you do go to a pusher prop, you will have to reverse the motor, because right now the motor, I believe, is running, well, I think it's running in the correct direction if you do want to use pusher prop. Okay, we have that on there, and we're going to give it a tap here. Make sure it's a collet style, so you want to not, really heave on it too much. So we're going to mount the propeller here. I always suggest to balance the propellers, even though they are so small. Okay, once that is on there, we will insert a screwdriver into the front and just go ahead and tighten her down here. Don't have to be too crazy on tightening it because this is a small and a pusher prop. So let's go ahead and throttle up a little bit, hold on to it. Wow, lots of power. Okay. Now we have nothing left here pretty much but to clean up the wiring a little bit, and we will meet you back over here for a wrap-up. Thank you for joining me for today's build review of the mini Sky Surfer made by BlitzRCWorks. She's pretty much put together, ready to go. As you can see, the build was actually extremely easy. Everything went together really easily, and you can opt to use our provider radios or your own radio. But just look how cute this little Sky Surfer is. I love the Sky Surfer. I love all the sizes that we did come out with, and now we have the new edition of this little mini Sky Surfer. That is just the cutest little thing. I can't wait to get this to the field here. We're pretty much ready to go. I'll give you some throttle here. You can see how much power it has. There is plenty of power there. I want to give you a couple of pointers so y'all could have an understanding of a couple of things here if you are a beginner. When you actually get this airplane out of the box and you're starting your build, I think one of the first initial things you're going to notice is that the motor is at an angle. You see the motor's crooked. And I get a ton of people calling in or actually sending products back because they think the motor is actually mounted crooked. And I've actually talked about this before. Behind me here, somebody, one of our viewers actually noticed that this Super Sky Surfer, the motor was straight. And that's the reason why. The motor mounted crooked here, it's something in the industry, in aviation, we call right thrust. It's to counter the torque made from the propeller spinning in one direction. If you have this motor mounted on perfectly straight, the airplane will not fly right. And that's why that airplane actually came back. That actually belongs to a customer where he actually decided to straighten out the motor, and the airplane just never flew right again. So do not be concerned. The motor is at an angle, so that is mounted for proper thrust angle. And sometimes there's even down thrust or up thrust, depending on which airplane. So that is completely normal there with the crooked propeller. It looks a little bit goofy, but it's for purposes of actually being able to fly the airplane straight. And actually, it's not even that bad. You can see that it is crooked. So that is normal, so do not be alarmed. Once we have glued the servos down to the bottom of the main wings here, you can also use a piece of just clear tape or packing tape or fiber tape, and just go ahead and tape that down if that'll make you feel a little bit better about gluing servos in. A lot of people actually just only use tape, but I choose the rubber cement because you can still remove it. So that's pretty much it. Nothing left here but to get out and have some fun. The supplied 650 milliamp battery pack will actually go all the way in the nose. There's only one place to put it. It's a tight fit in here, but the AR6110s do fit in here just fine. And so your battery placement will be all the way in the nose. And that's pretty much it. So beautiful little mini Sky Surfer. My name is Pete. Thank you for joining me for today's What's in the Box and build review of the BlitzRCWorks mini Sky Surfer. I think this is something that's going to bring you many, many hours of just nonstop flying fun. My name is Pete. We'll see you at the field.